This brief video talks about how to use the Euclid catalogs other than the main MER catalog. So this is the result of an Inspect Objects search with a tiny radius. If I go to the Euclid Catalogs tab, the first catalog that it comes up with, the default one, is the MER catalog, and that one has RA index as well as object ID. That's the same catalog that it comes back with from an Inspect Objects search. So I've already got the 5 sources loaded here. If I go to the other Euclid catalogs, this one here, note that it doesn't have RA index. So you can't do a spatial search on these other Euclid catalogs. It does, however, have object ID. So that is how you're supposed to use these other Euclid catalogs. So if we go back to the Results tab, what I can do is I can literally select and copy that object ID, go back to the Euclid catalogs. I want to close up the spatial search, go to the object ID search, tell it that's the kind of search I want, literally paste the object ID and tell it specifically I want to match that to the object ID column in the catalog that I'm matching to, and then search. So that's the row from that catalog. And if you want to view it in a slightly more user-friendly way, if you can go to the Details tab, this is the vertical version of that horizontal line. The nice thing about that is that where it puts the field description there, so it's a little bit easier to absorb what all of these columns are. But let's go back to the Euclid Catalogs tab. What if you want to do a search on more than one object at a time? If we go to Load Object IDs from a table, you can go and upload a table from your disk if you want. Like if you go back to your results, I could, for example, go here and save this as an IPAC table file and then turn around and upload it again. Turns out, though, I don't have to because this table is already loaded into the tool. So if I go to the Euclid Catalogs tab and say I want to load objects from a table, I can choose one of the tables that's already loaded. What I want is Objects 1. This Euclid Photo Z, that's the one that we just created. We want the Objects 1, which is the 5 row one. So we're going to load that in, and we're going to tell it use the object ID from that table. We still want to match against object ID from this table. Search. There are the matches. So that's how you do it. It turns out at the moment you can only do up to 20 object IDs at a time. This will be fixed in future versions of this tool. And if you're creating your own list of object IDs from a table, if this is explicitly cast as a long, your table also needs to cast it as a long, because at the end of the day, computers are excruciatingly stupid. So when it matches the two fields, the fields have to match exactly. You can't match a string to a long, it's got to match a long to a long. But that's how you do it. That's how you use these additional Euclid catalogs that don't have RA index. You match it by object ID.